Hello and good eve before Thanksgiving, everybody. I am Gunther, the Headless Headhunter, and I am here to help you get a job. Hey, Rulshan, whether that is for resume reviews, answering your recruiting questions, doing mock interviews, whatever you think you need to get a job, I'm here to help. And sometimes I help with things you didn't know you need. We actually got two resumes on the docket tonight. We have got let's see. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. We have got Maslow and Rulshan. I just saw you. Maslow actually got their resume in before you. So if they are in the chat, I can help them out, and then I will get to you next. Maslow, are you here? Otherwise, Rulshan, I'm going to go with you. Let's see. And I am seeing you were looking for purely remote. Okay. Rulshan. Hey, Maslow. All right. There we go. So, again, I did a little bit of help with you yesterday, and one of the big things was, quite frankly, that I don't know if your resume is actually bad at all. I mean, when I'm looking at it, it's pretty good. And quite frankly, I think the biggest issue was volume, and your difficulty was finding volume. I did say I would look at it, but, I think the fact that you have about 25 applications per week, which is about 100 per month, leading to about 2 to 3 interviews a month, is actually pretty solid. We really need to get your numbers up. I'm just looking at your resume to make sure you did not forget anything about anonymizing it. Alrighty, it doesn't look like it. So let me go over here. This is your resume, and I don't think it's that bad. I mean, I think maybe a little bit of the formatting, but again, I don't want to ruin something that is actually pretty solid, especially if you are getting interviews. I think we're going to need to get more. And as I have said, we are approaching the winter months where essentially recruiting goes to die until January, sometimes mid February. And Rulshan, don't worry, I will get you after I help Maslow. So, let's see. Maslow designed a range of deliverables for X, including pitch deck, storyboards, mod boards. Yeah, this is solid. I mean, this is a really good intro sentence. It describes what you do, along with having some keywords in it. Uh, but again, I don't want to get too caught up in the weeds on this. I think your biggest issue is going to be volume because we need to figure out this is part of the diagnostic process is if you apply to 500 positions in a month and you only get one interview, your resume is probably bad. If you apply to, in Maslow's case, 100 jobs in a month and you get 3 interviews, that's actually pretty solid numbers. Again, anything below 75 applications to an interview is solid. Some industries are going to be different, obviously, but that is a good benchmark. If you are applying to over 75 interviews a week and only getting, essentially one interview from that or less, then you probably need to work on your resume. So I'm not going to touch your resume. We are looking for digital designer, UI designer, product designer, art director, UI designers. Okay, so I'm just going to do a very basic Boolean here. We probably will need to do a few others, but let me just do a real quick basic one. We are looking for UI designer. I don't want to put designer because I think that could be hit with a bunch of other stuff, but I may try that next. If anybody doesn't know what a Boolean is, be sure to ask me. I use them quite frequently. And before your next question is, okay, well, what is it used for? It is used for on job boards, and this is how recruiters actually search you out is through Boolean searches, but you can use it on LinkedIn to actually fine-tune your search. It is pretty useful there. Let's see, we have UI designer, UX designer. Okay, I'm gonna see UI UX. I think I just need to put UI UX. That should be good. And then I may break this, but we are going to go to. You are looking for New York City, the Big Apple. Does anybody call it the Big Apple anymore? Or ever? Was that actually a thing in New York? Let's see. I'm assuming it's New York City metropolis area. So there are 411 jobs that deal with this. Let me just make sure that was right. You said product designer. Okay, good. And then we do want to search about the last week. You want to apply early, which is about 77 results. That's actually pretty solid. This one probably you wouldn't be qualified for the JP Morgan. But Maslow, do me a favor. Follow my search criteria. Input that directly, copy paste exactly into your search bar up here and put in New York, put the past week. Let me know if these jobs are ones you are looking for, or if we need to give you a little bit more. I actually don't think this is too bad, especially because we're in the slow months, but I want to make sure this is actually fine tuned with your search. So while you are doing that, does anybody else have any other questions? Like, Gunther, what the heck did you just do? Gunther, why? What is this? What did you do? Can you use it on Indeed? Apparently, Indeed does have this function, but I haven't figured out how to activate it yet. It does work from a recruiter side, but it doesn't work from a candidate side yet. I'm actually going to try and figure that one out. So, but if anybody wants to know why you get contacted by a recruiter and that recruiter says, hey, I see that you're a digital designer. Did you want to work as a cow wrangler? Uh, Cow wrangler. That is because they used a bad boolean. Seeing the same thing. Okay, cool. So make sure those are good, Maslow, just first, because sometimes this can get other stuff, but I think these are correct. Look to see if these are good. You don't want to just use this. This is just can be kind of helpful. 77 a week means next week might have that much again. That is correct. Yes. So there are a couple of reasons you want to apply for the past week. Jobs go quickly. You want to get in as there are two reasons I say to search for the past week. The first is this is a good benchmark of how many jobs there are. Before you write a resume, you actually need to make sure you have jobs to apply to. That is, I think, probably the most critical point because it doesn't matter how good your resume is if you only can apply to 3 jobs. So this lets you show that in the last week alone, these 77 positions were done in New York City metropolis area. That's good. The second reason is you do want to apply to jobs early. Typically, most ATS systems show from a applicant date first to last, so whoever applies first gets up in the list. So you want to make sure you apply quick. So the faster you apply to a job, in most cases, the higher probability that you will get it. And if you apply to a job that is 3 weeks old, there's a chance that they're already midway through the interview process, and it's typically, if they get an offer, you're not going to get one. So there is actually a benefit to applying to jobs that are very old, actually. But you want to do this in the first place. And then when you run out, you may want to do any time and then go to the very, very bottom of the list, primarily because those jobs probably had a candidate and were reposted, or all the other candidates didn't work out. Don't spend a ton of time on like super old jobs, but send in a couple of resumes for it. And again, we are approaching the winter months. You're probably not going to get a lot of traction until mid January to February. That is just the normal business cycle. But it's still good to keep applying. Just don't burn yourself out. But you want to aim for about 75 a week. But, uh, not all at once. Do 10, like 15 a day just to not burn out. Use apps like Simplify to help out. But it looks like these are correct. I'm assuming these are what you're looking for. So this should help, actually. Honestly, Maslow, this might be what you were missing is just the volume from this. A lot of these are senior, and we can tweak this and change this later. But do you think this is good, or do you want me to dig a little bit deeper into your resume? And again, I don't want to like super mess with the resume because it's pretty solid if you're getting those. Well, things. Yes, the issue I come across is I'm not sure if you're senior level. That is true. A lot of these are senior. I want to see if I can maybe break this up into more. Let's see. Is there any other digital designer? Let's see. Other names. This is just a quick way to do it. Career options include UX designer, web designer, graphic designer, animator. Here we go. Here are a couple. Let me just. I don't think there's going to be Flash. That would be probably not be a lot of Flash. That's an isn't that like dead now? Yeah, I play for web designer and graphic designer roles too. Okay, so we don't have those. So then we're gonna do and then we're gonna forgot the question. Parentheses web designer. Or, and then you said also graphic designer. All right. Also, make sure you check my spelling. Gunther is severely dyslexic. So anything I do, always double check the spelling. All right. So this should open it up a little bit, hopefully. We're going to do this slowly. That's going to be 77. Now there are 130. Okay, cool. This should be better. Um, Volunteer designer. Okay. Lead product. That's pretty good. These are good, especially for the winter months because there's probably not going to be as much. Let's see. And then, is there anything? By the way, from these, would these work as job titles for you that I'm putting in the chat? These four: animation artist, flash, animator, multimedia artist, and animator. I just want to make sure I am hitting as much. So big booleans can be very good, but also sometimes nope. I'm not skilled in those. Okay, cool. That is why I asked. Animator is a no go. Web designer, that seems pretty solid. So I think this should help. Again, this is the boolean. Copy it. Make sure you get those results. I don't want to change the resume too much because like it's getting you stuff, right? Like it's working. Um, and you don't want to change what's super working. Your issue is volume. So in a UX designer, and how to build your actual resume is you want to find the, let's see this, where would they have it? They're going to say things that such as qualifications, what you need. We're excited about you because qualifications. These are the things that you want in your resume. You can kind of ignore essential duties and responsibilities. Those are usually copy pasted. The qualifications are usually what the manager directly wants. So you want to make sure you have these kind of things in there. And I'm just looking to see if this works in it, such as sketch, which you do. I would try and put this up here. Like this is what you want. You don't want to have all your skills down here. You want to make sure they're in here, which you do. Your first bullet is actually really good. But if you can fit your skills into this section, it's for the best. So I don't want to spend too long. If you think there's anything else you need, let me know. But also, Maslow, you can always come back any other stream and I can help assist with it. But I don't want to break your resume if it's pretty solid. And it seems like it's pretty solid. So I also sort by most recent to get the fresh job posting. Yep, that's also true. Brad, that is something you do want to do as well. You have to go to all filters and then go to most recent. So, and then it will show it. And the pay ranges on these are wildly different. Like, man, this one is 50 to 150. These are insane. A senior graphic designer's top end is 85K, but at this company, their low end is that. All right, Mike's hot honey. What is hot honey? Is that like spicy honey? That'd be pretty good. But yeah, so they're also called qualifications or requirements. So they want to make sure you have, CPG or Design 80. You want to make sure that's in your resume. So make sure you copy that Boolean search. That is what that is called. Maslow, my dyslexia kicked in. I almost called you my name. I was like, that's not speaking in third person here. Let me know. Does it matter if I don't include the specific in the program, one of those bullet points? It's already in my skills. You want to, okay, so both. I would say do both. Keep the skills, that's fine. It doesn't need to be one page. I think that's a myth, but especially, well, you've had 2 years experience, so we may want to keep it towards one page, but try to have them in this, right? But again, for the reason I don't want to break this is because the only rule in recruiting is there is no 100% rule in recruiting. And for your particular geographic area and your particular industry, this might be the better resume than what I could say. So I don't want to break this until we can get more results. I wish we were not approaching the winter months because those are going to really skew it. But I mean, if you can get a bunch of interviews in the winter months by just applying to more positions, then probably better. I mean, then that should be really good come February when everything starts to really kick in. So I would, if you could, put it here, but I don't want to. I don't want to break it too much again, Maslow. I mean, like it's pretty good. I'm not a huge fan of these skill sections typically, but again, I'm not. I don't want to break it for you. So, and the part of the reason I say this, and this is also why you have a lot of different people, because everybody will tell you different things in recruiting. Recruiter A will say one page. Recruiter B will say don't do one page. Recruiter C will say just walk in and shake the manager's hand. Don't do that. That's a bad idea. Um, and the reason is because there is no 100% rule in recruiting. That is about the only 100% rule in recruiting, is that depending on your geographic location, depending on the company that you are going to apply to, and depending on your industry, is going to vary what you want to do to be best in slot for that. And what I do here, to be clear, is I'm not trying to give you the best resume you've ever had in your life. I am trying to give you a resume that is better than 50% of the other options. We are looking for above 50%. I want to give you a resume that can be, for every 75 applications, you get an interview. But in your case, you already have that. So what you need is a way to get those 75 applications a week. I was thinking that putting a lot of things in the skill section would hopefully match their ATS system. Okay. Well, I want you to tell me what you think an ATS system is, because that's sort of incorrect. And again, there may be a company that actually has something that does that, but for most ATS systems, that's not going to matter diddly squat. At all. People have, this is the biggest recruiting myth I've ever heard, is what the ATS is. I already got a new job search method just from this. Awesome. I'm glad, Rulshan. I was thinking ATSs matches specific keywords in the job description. So I'm going to preface this with, I am sure there is a setting in some ATS systems that allow you to do that. For the majority of ATS systems you are going to apply to, this is what is going to happen. A recruiter is going to click a bunch of buttons. They're going to look at your resume, and they are going to manually find that keyword. The keywords are important. They are critically important. But it is not a machine doing it. It is a human being. Or in this case, a Doulahan, which is a headless horseman, is a Doulahan just like me. They're my cousin. So you want to make sure that you are staging this for a human. Now, what we can do is Control F and put sketch, right? And which is a lot of it, but not all recruiters are technologically savvy. So you want to make sure it shows up. You don't need to remake your resume for every job. You want to find the commonalities between a bunch of these and then sort of put the keywords there at the top. But again, almost, I would say, I'm just going to throw out a number, 90% of the time, a human being is going to be reading your resume, and they're going to decide by that, not an ATS. The ATS is just a viewer for it. It is just a library of resumes. Now, can an ATS probably search via keyword? Maybe. I'm sure you could put that in, but don't assume that a machine is rejecting you. A human is, which is why you need to make sure this is easy, because in my day job as a mortal person, before I shed my mortal skin and become the Headless Headhunter at night, I can only give about 8 to 12 seconds of a resume. And then if I didn't find what I need, but I think there's something interesting in there that might be, I will dig earlier. You want to make sure you can have the relevant information in 8 to 12 seconds. Yeah, I see. I thought the ATS pre-screens the resume. No. Again, there are probably ATS systems that could do that, but the vast majority of them are human beings who are overworked. Do not imagine getting a job like the recruiter is standing in front of a gate with a halberd blocking your entrance. You really need to imagine the internal recruiter, which is different from agency, but I'm not going to get into that right now because I could talk for an hour. But the internal recruiter at the company is the person at the DMV who has a line out the door, right? They have a line out the door. They look at the resume. They see the thing. They stamp it. They move it forward. They stamp it. They reject it. That is it. That is going to be the case. And they do have a line out the door. The biggest amount of jobs shed was basically going to be recruiters. I'm sure there's like, if it's not the biggest, it's one of the biggest. And right now, internal recruiters are slammed because companies haven't given them a budget for new hires as much yet, and those people don't usually start till the next year. So they do not have time to go digging through your resume. They do not see it up front. They will slap that rejected thing unless it's a very, very difficult to fill role, and then they may give it more. But you want to make sure it's up front and center, okay? Otherwise, they're just going to reject it. So view the recruiter as the person at the DMV, Department of Motor Vehicles, with a line out the door. That is a more accurate description of an internal recruiter. A headhunter or agency recruiter is going to be different, but I'm not going to go into that. But for the most case, you will be dealing with an internal recruiter. And if everything goes well, you will probably never meet the internal recruiter. A company's internal recruiter, if they do their job well, will almost never speak to a candidate in the vast majority of cases. It's usually when something goes wrong they do it, unless you have them specifically call the candidate for an offer, which is really nice. So yeah, just don't imagine some machine. And again, this is where there's no 100% rule in recruiting. I am sure there are ATS systems, which stands for applicant tracking systems, that can do that. But most systems now are human resource management systems with ATS systems tacked on. And those are really bad for recruiters. And they suck. I've used a bunch of them, and they're very cumbersome to actually do the job of screening candidates. Some of those, a human resource management system with an ATS tacked on, those are going to be Taleo, Workday, ADP. Those are some of the big ones. My brain is breaking on Greenhouse. I think that was more of just an ATS rather than a human resource management ATS. So that is that. Again, I'm now, Rolshan, let me know, are you free right now? I'm going to go on your resume. And Maslow, I want to say, if you're not getting as many interviews, that might be common. But if you're finding that, like, after doing this method, you still don't get enough, we can tweak the resume. You're on mobile, though. Yeah, that's okay. That's fine. I may have to ask you a couple of questions then, but we will see. So, and just to Maslow, you've already got the Boolean search, right? You're good. You don't need it again. I just want to make sure because it's let me know if you need it. So, question: in my first role, can I leave off the staffing agency or leave it like in? Let me go back real quick. I don't think it's gonna matter too much. Just to do this, Maslow designer contract ad agency through staffing agency. I don't think it's no worries for the Boolean. I'm a big fan of Booleans. I don't think it's going to matter, really. Also, we're getting an ad in about 3 minutes, so Rulshan, I will help you out after the ad. I don't want to start and then an ad pops up. I found your channel from a Reddit post saying to keep applying to the same company but different. Yes, that is true. I have been the recruiter in that, and there was somebody that applied to like 9 roles, and then on the 10th they actually qualified for. Typically, and hopefully the ad will not cut me off, if a company is posting multiple roles, they are probably going to be under different managers. So you want, even if they are under the same recruiter, they may be under different managers. So you want to make sure that you keep applying. Unless someone from the company specifically tells you to not do that, it is in your best interest most of the times to apply to multiple positions in the company. Now, you may get a lot more rejections because some of those may actually be under the same manager, but I think realistically that candidate applied to like 6 roles, and then at the 7th, no, they applied to like 8 or 9 roles, and then the 7th role they applied to, they actually went through the interview process and got the job, but were rejected from the others. So, in addition, if you are rejected at a company and they post the job up again, just apply again, because unless they tell you to stop. Now, I would say there may be a limit, don't do like 40, but some companies post a lot of applications, and they have a lot of different openings under different managers, and when you typically close a rec down, all those people, while they are saved in the ATS, they are very difficult to actually access, so you were basically gone unless you apply again. So that is typically going to be the rule. Again, there is no 100% rule in recruiting because you are dealing with people, and people are chaos incarnate, but people can be generally predictable, and I would say to up your chances, just keep applying. So, especially because once you actually apply in a company's ATS, you're already saved in it, so it's a lot easier to actually go through the application process. So, and let's see. Let me pull this up. I'm just making sure, Roshan, that you are not doxing yourself. One person had their entire like phone number and everything on, which was it's like, bro, whoa. And it looks like Omni is not here because it is his birthday today. So, all right. I'm just worried that they may think I was actually employed at my previous agency, but then actually I worked for the agency through the staffing agency. Um, I don't. I don't know if that's going to be a big thing. If you were employed through a staffing agency, you worked through this. You worked for the staffing agency, but you can say that you worked at the client on your resume. So I would just say, contracted through X is fine, and the background check will be an entirely separate thing they send you upon hire. So I think that's fine. Um, there's a lot of contract stuff going on now, and the ad will be anywhere. Yeah. Um, Again, no 100% rule in recruiting. Someone may throw a fit, but your odds are very low. So, but you would just put on the background like the staffing agency. Basically whoever signs your paychecks is who you're directly work for. If you're a contractor, even if you work at the client is not the one paying you. The client is paying for you to your parent company that then pays you, which is a bit confusing, but that's how that works. So, but for the sake of an interview, it's largely irrelevant. So, because you can still put the fact that you worked at that company in the interview. So, my ads just gaslight me. It says it's going to be an ad in a minute, and now it's been a minute, and it's just haunting me, and now I'm going to say something and it's going to pop up. I hate this. I hate my own ads. There it is. And let's see. Remote, remote, remote. We are looking for. These are very different. Yeah, for me as well. For me as well. I hate the ads, but I can't turn them off, sadly. Right. Let's see. Technical account manager, contract manager. These are all very different. California. Okay. This is BA in philosophy. Configured Linux. What is this? Okay, so this was the same company. Okay. All right. So the first thing is we got to find jobs for you. And I want to be clear. These all seem pretty different. Like a technical account manager is different from IT support, which is different from a mortgage loan assistant, which is different from a product owner. I'm not sure where to go from this one because these are all wildly different jobs, Rulshan. So tell me what you would like to do because these are all very different and the search criteria for these will be pretty different. I know you're on your cell phone, so it may take a little bit, but uh, and then I do have some general ways to tweak this. Let me see. I can open this in Google Docs. It's probably going to be the formatting is going to be awful, but uh, let's see. Rulshan. Okay, this is fine. Okay. Okay. I know this messed up the morning. Technical account manager is preferred or product owner. Okay. There we go. Let's do this. So I'm just gonna say, first off, I will say, trying to find a remote job, it's gonna be tough. You may actually need a bit more than 75 applications to get an interview. Remote work as of November 2022, I think the statistic was only 15% of the applications of the jobs out there are fully remote, and 50% of the people are only applying to those. So your competition is brutal. So I just want you to be aware that's going to be pretty brutal. So let me just see what we have with these two. Yeah. Oh, okay. I mean, that's fair. I don't blame. Look, I'm not gonna knock anybody for wanting only remote. I personally don't like going to the office. It's it's not something I like, so I fully get that. So the first thing that is going to be an issue is these two only do 475, and that's been in the past week. And if we click remote, click remote, we actually, you know what? That's not bad. 134. Okay, so technical account manager. All right, so just put these in. I know you're on your cell phone, so I don't know if you can. I just want to make sure these are accurate because it's going to determine what we do later. So see if this Boolean search works. If not, just quickly look at the screen and see if this kind of works or not. What is a flashlight learning? TAM, that's technical account manager. Whatever. I'm assuming these are all, but sometimes the same name. Okay, I'll try in the app. Yeah, and if it doesn't work, I'll see what I can do. But it's pretty important that we get these first. Although it does actually look like that your odds are pretty good. Like this one was posted 4 days ago. It only has 9 applicants. That's solid. 5 years as a technical account manager. And then I'm gonna dig in, probably roast the heck out of your resume. So the formatting is a little bit different, and you do want to make sure. So for this, try and send it to me in. When you send this to people, you want to make sure it is in PDF format. PDF is always the best. When you send it to me, you want to make sure it's in Word or Google Docs. But for actually applying, PDF typically opens quicker and better for recruiting. Otherwise, you get this weird thing where they may have to download it. It doesn't work with all ATS systems, and then if an ATS system doesn't, they don't have it set it up with. But almost everything is good with PDF. So make sure you have a PDF version of this, which it does look like you do. I'm seeing that now, and then so your formatting. I'm gonna do some formatting things. I do know, and I want to be clear, it did mess it up in transition, and everybody can see the difference right here. Uh, so it did definitely mess up some of it, but we can make this cleaner regardless. So the first thing you want to do is you want to have this. You don't need 4 years and 8 months. Just put the dates, right? All you need, I don't, my brain is not working. You want to put the month, okay? So put the month. It shouldn't be bolded. Nope, should not be bolded. Put the month. Put the month. Okay, this is just going to make it cleaner. You don't need this part. Then for colors, just do black. We want to make sure this is just a normal resume. Text color should just be black. You don't need to underline this. Okay, so the other thing is I personally do not like this because, well, I don't think it's good. I don't think objectives can help. Unless you are switching careers. I got 134. Okay, perfect. That's good. Ideally, you want a little more than 75 because, like, some of them may get junked with that, but that's good. Okay, perfect. So remember, we are approaching the winter months, so that may sink down to like 10 in the next couple of weeks, but when January hits again, that'll be solid. So I would remove this objective. I don't think it helps you. We want to make it cleaner. Just hold on. I think I actually have this. One of the other people just showed me. Where is this one? What was this? There was just a basic resume template. Oh gosh, Omni's gonna kill me because he sent this to me and I cannot find it again. All right, well I'll do it again. But yeah, again, you don't need this underlined, right? This is fine. We want to make this cleaner. Cleaner. And then we're going to do this. So let my experience and skills speak for themselves. Yes. So here is what I'm going to tell you something is also just try to use the bullets, the actual bullets, and not these like things. Consult. The one rule is you want to make sure that it is in the past tense. Everything should be in the past tense, even if you currently work there, okay? So we're going to put the months here, and I went over this last stream, but essentially, you don't... I know this has kind of been the case where that's at least 4 years, but in the PDF, they're actual bullets. Okay, that's fair. Oh, they are. Right, you're good. But put the months. It's very important to put the months. even if you actually have a solid amount, because they may, so you have about 4 years and 8 months you have. They may instead view that as December 2019 to January 2023, and that's way different in the amount of years. So you don't want them to assume this because it's actually almost the reverse. So put the months down in all of them. Okay. Um, Now I think this is fine. You have this. This is bullet CSM. Let's see. I'm just gonna go over here. You don't want this blue thing. I don't know what it is. You don't need it. Okay. You could keep actually this part as blue. I will say that actually could work. I don't think that's bad if you keep this part as blue. Whatever color you were using, that one's garish, but you get the idea. Whatever color you have for that blue is probably okay. But going back to it, boop, 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 brain. Where did brain go? Brain go. Did Gunther completely lose? There it is. Okay, I'm just gonna put this over here. So this blue is fine for the actual job title. Make everything else black. It's a lot cleaner. Um, Again, remove this background blue. Remove this edge thing right here. Just make it smooth. And in fact, even if you just remove those, it'll be a lot smoother just in general. Um, that's fine. And now I'm going to tell you. So that is just normal, like random stuff that I'm telling you for just formatting. I want to see this real quick. Um, oh, CSO platform specialist. So companies a lot of the time will have internal titles that don't match up to external ones. And I'm going to tell you that you should probably change your title. CSO is internal. Okay. But I don't know what that means, right? So like let's say you applied to a technical account manager West, and they don't know what this means. I don't know. How many is too many? Um, in I would say ideally you want. It depends on how long you work there, honestly, Brad. Because if you work there for 8 years, you should have more. If you work there for a year, you're gonna have less. You want to make sure that it gets the point across. A minimum of 3 is always good. In this case, they've been there for 4 years and 8 months, so they should probably have a lot of bullets. Um, Although in this case, like this is their like main thing, so this is fine, right? Like this is a lot of bullets, but they were here for a while, so I think this is okay. If say you only worked here for a year, then no, but I don't know. I don't think it's bad to have too many bullets. Uh, I'd say maybe this is close to the max, but you could probably shrink these bullets and make better bullets, truthfully. So, but yeah, you let's see. What is a CSO platform specialist? Because I think you may want to change this title. Um, it's okay to change titles, truthfully, as long as they tell you, like, oh, you're an X, and as long as you never say, well, my technical title was blank, but I was, but the what everybody else calls it is Y. So I support installers with loan service websites. I have no idea what that means. I have no idea what that means. And truthfully, I don't know if the recruiter was. Do not assume your recruiter knows what you do. You need to make it basic. The very first bullet should be basic enough that your tech illiterate grandparents or a tech illiterate 12-year-old can understand it. That is the goal. All right, the first bullet. Because your recruiter is going to go here and they're going to look at this and say, oh, it's a CSO platform specialist. That's not a technical account manager. They're going to look at this and say, I don't know what that is, and then decline you. So it can happen. You want to make sure the what you do is very, 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 very clear. Okay? Because your recruiter, remember, is going to be the person at the DMV with a line out the door. You need to make sure that you get that information immediately, and it's not going to get like you don't want it hot hidden or anything. It should be up front so they can see you, click the pass button, and move you forward. Now I don't know what a and you even explained it. Make it dumber. Make a dumber version of this. Consulted management. Okay, so the formatting messed up on there, but that's we'll just ignore this. So I think I have to think on such a simplified description. Sure. So you consulted management on sales and operation workflows. So the first thing before that though is would it be a lie, and I don't want you to lie, right, to say that you were a technical account manager here? Because you want to make sure you are in market, right? I was at a company that called software engineers. I'm trying to remember the name, but it was like technical web developers. And if they put that, no one would know what that is. So you want to make sure your job title actually describes the job you're doing. Don't say you were a heart surgeon because you're lying. But if you change your title to what is actually in market, it's okay. It's kind of lot installers were accounts I provide. Like I want you to be. Here's my rule, right? Don't put anything in your resume that you're not comfortable talking about in an interview. So if you do consider yourself a technical account manager because of that job, then just put technical account manager. That's fine. For recruiters, they sometimes call us like talent advisors, and it's like that's something else. So you want to, and even for managers, right? They'll say, "Oh, we want a talent advisors." Like those are called recruiters. That is the common colloquial term for the recruiters. So I will have a lot of times I will. Oh, no, I'm trying to remember exactly what it was for the company, but they called a software. What they had was a software developer position, and it was C sharp. And what was the other one? C sharp, and I think it was C sharp and something, right? And they called it technical. I'm trying to remember the name. This was like a year ago. It was so off. A technical, technical. What was it? Technical something developer. It was like that, and they kept calling it this in their job postings. And I was like, dude, no, I've worked IT. Just call it a software developer and put C sharp. And then they started actually getting stuff. Technical wizard. It was very close to being technical wizard. I'll be honest. So it's okay to change your actual title as long as it is correct. Now, you're not going to say technical account manager of vice presidents, but if you believe this is actually a technical account manager, just say it. And if they ask you and they say, my technical, the actual name for it was blank, but realistically, it's what everybody's calling a technical account manager. So that is ideally what you want to do. Now, how to dumb this down? That's going to be a little bit difficult. So, and make sure these are accurate, because like I'm going to bring up your other one here. Like, I don't know what a true up assistant manager is. Like, just say assistant manager. That at least makes sense. But like, and I don't know what a true up department, like these make no sense to me, and they will probably hurt your chances. So make sure to get these accurate with what they were in market. I've come up with this problem too in my industry. Some companies ask for a product designer when it's basically a web designer, UI designer. I'm not sure if me just putting designer would be fine. You probably just want to do. You could even put like, you could say like UI / web designer. I think it's going to depend on the jobs, but that's where you want your first like sentence right here to make sense, so that they may say, I don't understand what this is, but I do know what this is. So team up is internal language, more like proposal. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what that would be. You're gonna need to find what that's actually called in market and change it to that, because these are all internal companies, and I have no idea what they're called. Companies like to name things not in market all the time. The cynic in me would say it's conspiracy, but realistically, they just think naming it something cool will get them more talent. But in actuality, people won't apply because they don't know what it is. So, write what the actual job is that, is, all right? What you think it is, put it there for all of them, because these are, I mean, does anybody in chat know what these would be: a team up lead, a proposal adjuster. I mean, that one makes sense. A proposal writer, like, is that just a like a mortgage writer? You could put mortgage writer, right? Like, don't use the company's internal lingo because it's not usually correct with the market. So yeah, I don't either, Brad. I'm assuming a proposal writer is a mortgage writer, but that's only because you told me what you were searching for. So you really, 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 really want to fix all of that. You're gonna have to go down and change all of those, add months and everything. So, and again, you can come back at another stream. So if you want to do a fix and then we could slowly do it, it's solar proposal writer. Yeah, I don't even know what a solar proposal writer is. Assume your recruiter is dumb as bricks, okay? Now, when you talk to them, just treat them nicely, but just assume your recruiter's got no idea what you're doing. And to give you an idea of what that is, I am a very good recruiter, right? I think it's okay to toot my own horn about that. No one uses that saying anymore. I was the top third out of 55 recruiters at agency, and I specialized in filling requisitions that have been super aged. What that means is nobody had been able to fill it for almost a year or more. So yeah, and that's why I started this channel, so I could do this stuff. So I'm very good at being a recruiter, and I totally forgot my actual point. Oh no! I just bragged for a minute and I forgot my actual point. And I think it had may start soon, but which I'm afraid of. But what was my point? Someone in chat remind me of my actual point that I was trying to make. That I didn't just blow smoke up my. I wasn't trying to just brag. I was trying to show that I actually good at what I do. But I forgot why I was trying to show that in the first place. You're the greatest. Thank you, Chili Philly. Thank you. Dumbing it down. Oh, there it is. Dumbing it down. Okay, cool. Thank you. Right, I just bragged and then forgot I was trying to call myself an idiot. Okay, so I was a very good recruiter at this. I handled the tough roles. And I had 35 requisitions on average. So that was 35 jobs across IT, management, biopharma, like biopharma scientist, other types of scientist, sales, and I think there was one or two more that I forgot. And that, if you think I am a very, very good recruiter, but if you think I know all of those industries by heart, you are mistaken. And what I did, which you don't need to know the industry as a recruiter. You actually need to know the manager. It's more important to know the manager than it is the industry. You can figure out the industry given enough time. Manager is different. But I had all of those roles, right? I had an IT role, and that was all concurrent. It was at the same time. So it was 35 roles at the same time. I constantly filled them, and it was in IT, it was in product management, it was in managers, it was in scientists, it was for like creating like a biopharma creation scientists stuff. It's been a while and I forgot the name of it, and a bunch of others, all at the same time. And that's not, even if I did have an encyclopedic knowledge, it's you don't know all those industries by heart. You need to assume your recruiter does not know your industry, because most likely they are going to be filling a bunch, right, of industries. So do you think it's a good idea if I have multiple resumes with additional job titles in order to cater to the job? I think it's not bad. Just don't. I want to caution you to go too ham on it, because if you're applying to 75 a week, you don't want to burn yourself out. So I think maybe like 2 to 3 resumes is solid, but I know some people have like 20. And I mean, if you have the bandwidth for that, yeah. But searching for a job is exhausting and like dehumanizing. So I don't want you to spend like 20 hours on 20 different resumes. I'd say like 3-ish would be good. That's a solid number. I think I'd benefit if I'm aiming for different roles like I am. Yeah, I think that's usually the case. Like if you're aiming for different roles, but if people call it different things, as long as it doesn't take too much time from you actually applying, I think it's beneficial. So, Rolshan, careful to not get them confused. Yeah, you could also get them confused. Howdy, Headless. Long time no see. Hey, Too Tactical. How you go? How are you going? We're gonna have an ad in like a minute, unfortunately, and I only have one snooze left, so I want to be careful when I use it. Is supports contracts and technical account manager? Yeah, I would say you may want a couple of different ones, Rolshan, but more for the title or anything. So I've given you a lot. I would say take this advice. Come back next Tuesday. We'll do your resume again because and I'm gonna publish the stream so you can go back and look at all the stuff. But you've got formatting issues. You've got to change the names of this, and you need to figure out how to dumb this down. I would say maybe like was the primary subject matter expert for consulting on all like computer issue. I don't know. I have 30 seconds until the ad comes, and I don't want to say something, but we do need to break it down. Yeah, and again, anytime come back. I don't care if I've already done your resume. I'll do more resumes from you. It's just new people get priority. That's basically the rule. Is new people get priority. So, but you have a lot of stuff to fix, and then once you do that, we can do it more. So, perfect. And again, we are approaching the dead zone of recruiting, unfortunately, so you may not get a lot of traction in the next month and a half. Just don't take it personally. It's just the market. It looks like we got some new people here. Does anybody else want their resume reviewed? That is what I do, or any other recruiting questions. What have you been up to Tactical? How's it been going? My words are not coming out right today. They do not work. One thing is achievement as skill sections bad. I don't think it's bad. So, I'm deaf in the dead zone. Yeah, it's rough right now. Sorry about that, Rosie. I don't think it's bad, but again, the worst that happens is they just stop reading your resume. So you kind of want to make sure the important stuff is up front, right? They have 8 to 12 seconds. Make sure it's the important stuff up front. So I would keep it. We can exit out maybe next time or something, but you know. Ba 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 dee ba da ba doo. And then let's see if anyone wants their resume reviewed. Here is the link. Just let me know in chat when you do. Yeah, ad. I can't stop them. Unfortunately. Do I have an emote for this? What is this? Yep, cannot. I gotta fix my emotes. Emotes, there's so much to do before being a VTuber recruiter. A VTuber recruiter. So, and we are having it back in now. Excuse me. All right, we are, I hope, back. So that is the resume link. If you want to put in an anonymized resume, I'd be glad to review it. Otherwise, why did I pin that? I pinned the wrong darn thing. Ugh. There it is. Yeah, that's the one I wanted to pin. Okay, cool. But yeah, add off, add on, add off, add off. It's like from the Karate Kid. Add on, add off, add on, add off. So I don't know. I'm glad to be back. Here is a random emote that I like that I'm just going to spam the chat with. So, does anybody have any other recruiting questions? What has been your troubles in job searching? Primarily just anything. I'm going to have shorter streams until the new year. In the new year, I'm going to go back to being an agency recruiter full time, and then I'll have more time to do this. So, but I'd probably only go for another 20, 30 minutes, but let me know if anybody wants the resume reviewed. I'm just thinking about changing my designer title position to matching. Jeffrey, yeah, I think that's a good idea, Maslow. When are you streaming again? So, my stream schedule is now going to be Tuesday, Wednesday, starting at 5:30. Not sure how long I'm going to go to, honestly, Too Tactical. I had a giant Friendsgiving that me and my girlfriend worked our tails off of, and more accurately, my girlfriend kicked me out of the kitchen because I wasn't helpful and I tried to sweep up the place. And then also there's the holidays, and I'm going to be moving and it's getting everything ready for in January. So I'm probably going to have not very long streams until January, and then my goal is to try and do 12 hours a week somehow. From one of the really cooler other streamers, they said you want to do at least 12 hours. So, but I'm starting now Tuesday, Wednesday, 5:30 p.m. till whenever I get too tired. So just to clarify, should I put the month next to the years in the titles or just the company? Probably in your case, you want to have it in both. And I would also make sure the formatting is this like this. I'm in the screen right now. So just this should be maybe a different color, and then you put it like that, and then you do this, and then you put it pop, you do that. There you go. Something like that would probably be better. I think that's actually a good use of the different colors. Also, there should be at least a small little break between these. Can you check my education section to see if I list the dates right and if I need graduated text in it? Let's see. Going back to the resumes. Why is it so hard for me to find my own resumes section, which I swear I have? Where is it, Gunther? Brain, nope. Tired. Yeah, I do this after my normal 40-hour work week, so I don't know how some of the other streamers stream for like 8 hours after their work week. That is just, man. But yeah, I'm gonna do this, not full time this, but I'm gonna be doing. I'm just gonna shut up for a second so I can actually find my friggin' resumes here. Come on, Gunther. Resumes for stream. There we go. All right, Rulshan. Maslow, let's do this. Maslow, what did you say you wanted? Can you check my education? Doing work-related content after work. Basically, yeah. So I have 40 hours a week. I am a internal recruiter, and then I kind of miss the agency side. So I'm going to go back to being my own agency recruiter in January. And going to be doing this more often because I 40 hours of reviewing resumes and reviewing resumes after can burn a Doulahan out and a man. So, all right, let's see. You had education, graduated September. This is fine. Um, Coding, graduated. I don't think that's that bad. Um, I think you have it. I think the only thing I would say is maybe move it to the right hand side. So, and I don't think you need when you started the coding boot camp. I think you should just put graduated August 2023 and then graduated December 2018. So I don't think you need too. It's a little extraneous, but as long as you have it over in the corner, you should be fine. So, but yeah, doing work related stuff after work. So do I even need graduate at all? Probably not, but I don't think it's going to hurt you to have it in. I mean, you could put 2000 and that and then put graduated. That is an assumption, is that if people put their if people put a degree on, typically it is assumed that they graduated it. So that is something that does occur. So I'm not sure you actually need graduated, but I also don't think it's going to really hurt your chances too much. So it's not, you know, big whoop if you leave it in or not. It's not a huge thing. I mean, if they get if they get all the way down there, they're probably not going to really care what you put as long as they know for sure. So whatever you think would make the ease of use better, essentially. So. All right, and then again, let me know in chat if anybody needs a resume reviewed, but I'm just going to go see if I can find something to answer on LinkedIn maybe before calling it in. I think I'm going to do one more ad snooze in maybe like 20 minutes and then probably call it for tonight. And then I will be back every Tuesday, Wednesday, 5:30, start PST, starting then, ending, I don't know, whenever I get tired. But my goal is to do 12 hours a week in the new year. In theory, I think that's what I want to do with it. So, I don't know. I may break that up into some other stuff. So, all right. Let's see. What has the old Reddit done? Anything good? Maybe do a resume roast. Oh gosh, this is a horrible resume. If you were a recruiter and you saw this resume, what industry job do you think you have a talent for? Bro, this is terrible. This is a bad resume. I think even everybody in chat who's new can see why I don't like this already. So I'm going to pose this to the class. Why do y'all think this resume ain't good? What is the problem with this? I want to see if people can guess it real quick. There's a lot, and then I'll do probably a resume roast on this. Wow, even the formatting. Do recruiters print out resumes or just look at them? Digitally, although some recruiters are very old school and they print them out. But usually, the volume you need to look out, you would run out of printer ink in a day. Um, it's a lot. Again, you will probably be looking at 100 or plus maybe a day. And one of the misconceptions about recruiters is that we think that looking at resumes is the most of our job, and it's actually that is correct. No dates. Brad, that is one reason. But most of our job is not looking at resumes. I'm going to hazard a guess and say 20% of an internal recruiters week is going to be resumes. It's really only like a fifth of our job at best. So the other stuff is fixing the process so it goes smoother and making things go with deals and stuff. So the problem with this resume is that the thing you care about is not margin and not less. Both of you are correct, yes. So, all right, let's do, if anybody wanted to clip this, what I'm about to do, and send it to this person, go ahead. I'm still working on how to do the clip stuff, but we're going to do a resume roast. Alrighty, resume roast time. Tomatillo 1. Your resume is bad. You shouldn't feel bad, though, but your resume is bad, and here's what I'd fix. So, as the Headless Headhunter, the first thing is, this is the most important stuff. This experience, just cancel the summary. You don't need that. Make sure this is one single column. You do not want two columns in a resume. It's very, very bad. Second, your experience needs to actually show dates. Yes, if this is all in school, that's okay. You can say scholastic experience from whenever to whenever. In addition, your formatting is weird. Why is this bolded and then this bolded, but this isn't bolded? Keep the format. In addition, you need to describe what you do. Pen to capstone paper that researches for novel solution for incorporating the marine society and since it feels a study. That's okay, but what are these keywords? Additional activities. Also, you should choose the circles, not the dashes. It just looks better. You don't show why you were good at this. We need to show why you're good. But the biggest issue right now is formatting. The only thing I really give a darn about is probably going to be here and the fact that you graduated. So this should be here. This should be up top. And that is a very quick resume roast. So that's bad. Yeah. I know the position A management. If you recruiter saw this, which industry? I don't even know. I'm assuming this is a mechanical engineer. That's what I would read. SolidWorks is usually, and CAD is usually going to be mechanical engineer. So, what online work from home jobs would you recommend? Recruiter. A lot of recruiters are work from home. Not a ton of them, but it's not a job you really need to be on site for. So, yeah, I would definitely say recruiter is one of them. Currently, I'm under unemployment, looking for a job with has flexible hours and no experience as I'm attending. Oof. You could try being a recruiter, although you may need to put 40 hours in it. There are a few part-time recruiter positions, but those typically pay only commission. And really, if you're doing this as commission, it's not easy. So I'm getting the impression recruiters only care about hard skills, fail that, and soft skills. Soft skills matter, but you need to write them correctly. Okay? Soft skills can matter. So, but also it depends on your industry, right? Let's say you want to say a soft skill, and you're trying to show that you are applying through something that a soft skill is needed, such as recruiting, such as waitering. I don't know why I said both of those. Interacting with people, sales. You want to say something like, used due to my. Let's see. Let me say this one. Here we did. Up sold over 68% of our merchandise using people skills such as active listening and selling techniques. This is a bad one, but this sort of gives you how to use it, right? This says that you upsold 68% of our merchandise, specifically using that. Now, you could also say uh, upsold over 68% of our merchandise using people skills, where the average was under 45%. Uh, Using skills such as like that. So soft skills have to be accompanied by a metric. They need to be explained not necessarily by a metric, but they do need to have, you need to show what you use them for, right? Like you could also say resolved angry customers, like resolve, like you could say resolved multiple angry customers in the return line by using active listening and X and Y to solve their problems. Uh, so something like that. You need to make sure that it has a thing. You can't just say uh, made people happy by using active listening. What did you do, right? Resolved multiple complaints by using X, complaints from incorrect food orders by using active listening. And my brain is, I'm tired, so I can't think of any of the others, stuff. Lacking listening that resulted in reduced complaints, right? So I dealt with upset sales reps as lead manager, active negotiating skills. Yeah. Can you do the STAR method to describe those? Oh, every time the STAR method. It's really good. I always forget the STAR method. It's acronyms, too many. STAR method is situation, task, action, result. Yeah, that's good. You can do those. So you can. The point isn't like, the main point is you need to show what it did, right? You cannot have them in a vacuum. My old recruiting people said if you're writing a resume, you want to make sure you can reverse it, and if it says almost the same thing reversed, it's not good. So this, you can't say like didn't resolve multiple complaints from incorrect food orders by using active listening that resulted in reduced complaints. That doesn't make sense. But if you said used active listening on customers to make them happy, you could say it doesn't make sense if you put like it. Sorry, that's a bad one. Ignore that. But can you see the difference between these two? So the point is you need to show how you used it. What was the result? Just like the STAR method is, the situation, the task, the action, the result. Arguably, you may even be able to like skip the situation, but if it happened multiple times, but you can definitely use the STAR method. So that is what you want to do. I'm losing my things. Make sure it shows where you used it, how you used it, what it did, that kind of thing. Because and Rulshan, you said I dealt upset sales reps. Yeah, I would say definitely. Like you want to definitely put that in as a manager, right? There's a people skills. And if we go to jobs, right? Let's just put manager. Let's see. I'm just going to put this. With great communication. That shows communications. Also, if you used Excel, put it in your resume. I don't care what you are. Almost everything in corporate, right? So you could say, what are they saying? Extra customer service skills. So that's a management position. So you want to say, when my department lead was upset due to receiving an incorrect bonus from HR, I used customer service skills to, this one would be, active listening or whatever, to assist them in calming down so that they wouldn't quit. Something like that. Honestly, did so much stuff I missed things to put in. Yeah, we gotta first make sure your resume, like do the stuff I did first, and then we can work on the bullets because there's so much chaos in that resume that You want to make sure the format is there. You want to make sure your job titles are there. But my brain is. I'm getting close to the time when my brain is not working. Otherwise, I'd have these better. So. Also, man, how do people speak for like 8 hours straight? This is crazy. So, let's see. One of my part of my head was incorrect. Let me see if a good one. You could say, kept employee morale high, which resulted morale high using X, Y, which resulted in a reduction of attrition by X, right? Or reduced attrition by X, that kind of thing. So that is stuff that you could do as well. Because that is a metric is good, but we don't always have metrics. You can say reduced, but you can't just say used X to help people. You want to show how it helped. Just like the STAR method, thank you, Brad, that's saying it better than I can, is what was the situation, what was the task, what was the action, what was the result. Excuse me. So, should you order those bullets by impact or something? You arguably want to do the bullets based on the importance. Yeah, I would less impact and more what the people at the job are looking for. So a general one, Rulshan and Maslow, because you two are new, is I have a 3 essential rules for bullets. Okay. Rule number 1 is and I hate, by the way, I'm super dyslexic, so I hate typing this, but is the first bullet should definitely be a generalized description a 15-year-old could understand, right? With no industry knowledge. Then every other bullet needs to be, right? Every other bullet needs to be keywords, brags, okay? If you could do both, that's great. If you can put keywords and brags into the first one on every job, a generalized description, then that's better. But the very first one should be a generalized description, right? So in this case, no, add, no, add, no. Okay, I will keep going a little longer after this ad. They keep gaslighting me. Ugh, yeah, no stream for me for 30 seconds. All right, I'll go a little bit longer. Let's say like 10 minutes, and then I'll probably head out because I think y'all can see my brain is leaking out of my ears. All right. What was I saying? Let's see. What were we doing? I moved up my position department, so I was worried about repeating myself. Uh, you want to make sure you're putting what's important to the application. So like up front, because people skills are great, but you want to make sure you have these up front. So remember when you're making your resume, under each job, which in your case I think it should be each little thing should be a generalized description that someone with no industry knowledge would understand, and then every other bullet under that particular job should be keywords or brags or both. Otherwise, it doesn't really have a point. Unless you think there's something like that you want to describe again, but these are the goals, right? So, generalized description, then keyword, brag, both. All right? That's the general rule. And you want to make sure it makes sense, right? Like, you could just say, used Excel and Word, uh, you know, every week to create document reports in our ATS, which you would not actually put reports in an ATS. There are different folders for that, but that's just an example that I'm saying. But no, you don't keep those in an ATS typically. I mean, you can put notes in an ATS under candidates, but not many recruiters typically use that feature. So, does anybody have any questions before I bounce tonight? I thought Excel Word was too low level to. No! No, 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 no. Always, 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 always include Excel. Always include Excel. I'm just gonna do Excel. It's everywhere. It's insane. The amount of jobs that will reject you and people for not having it is insane. It doesn't matter if it's low level. You put Microsoft Office. You put Excel. If you have used those, you put them down. You have used it. Yes, excellent. Yeah, I. One of the people whose birthday is today had a drinking game where every time I would say Excel, they would take a shot, and I told them not to do it because they would die of alcohol poisoning before the end of the stream. Excel is important. Microsoft Word, Outlook. I understand those are basic. Still put them in the resume. Absolutely put them in the resume. You may even want to put them up front and top in your resume. They are that important. Very, very important. It's exhausting trust me, it's important. All right. Do recruiters typically hand a candidate's resume info to their account manager to determine if they are qualified? The reason I'm asking is that I was on a phone screen with a recruiter from a staffing agency, and while they liked my background, they needed to send them before determining if I should get an interview. That's not normally the case. So, uh, hmm, that company might have been doing something a little weird. So first off, we're going to have. Here's where it gets weird. You have a staffing agency, right? Who has a recruiter. And then that staffing agency might also have a manager, right? If they're very picky. If they're new, right? If they're new, it would then go to the staffing agency manager, who will then send it to, in theory, the internal recruiter, who will then send it to the hiring manager. So my guess for that is going to be they were new. Because you don't want your new recruiter to just send random resumes to a client. If you're a staffing agency, it would piss them off. You want to make sure they're relevant. So they probably believed you to be relevant. They sent it to their manager. But this is the tip. If you are going through a staffing agency, you will typically go with the staffing agency recruiter, who then sends it to the internal recruiter, who then sends it to the hiring manager. If they're new, it may go to the staffing agency recruiter's manager, then the internal, then the manager. Sometimes the staffing agencies can completely skip the internal recruiter. That is possible. It can be done. Depends on the company. The odds of it, I don't even know, because that's just going to depend on how the company's set up. But usually that is the flow, right? So if they do not have staffing agencies, then it's going to be the internal recruiter and the hiring manager. So normally the way this process goes is you are going to have a phone screen. Not every company does it. This is the order it goes, right? So you have a phone screen, then you have an interview with manager, and then maybe another interview. This is the normal, right? The phone screen doesn't really count. This is going to be typically with their recruiter. This is the recruiter. They don't actually make the decisions. They just want to make sure that you check the boxes. Yes, no, you're in. And then it goes to the interview with the manager, and then every company is going to be different with how they actually structure their interviews. So that's when it gets chaos. But if Excel would be used at all, even for 100K positions, include it? Yes. How about multiple times for different roles? Include Excel. Just include Excel. At least do it once up in the front. All right. I'm gonna give you this role, right? So this is a senior quality assurance manager. What do they need? Word, Excel, and Access database. What Access database? That's a new one. What is Access database? Is that just like Oh, that's just a database in MS. Okay, that's probably easy. So this is a position that is require 5 years, 85 to 100K. What do they have? Excel. If it is in the qualifications, you want to have it. So that's my job. Hey, I'm assuming you are not in Modesto, California, but just in case you are, here you go, Brad. I don't know, but I had two different recruiters from the same staffing, uh, same staff. They both said they needed to hand my resume to their account manager. Um, yeah, that could be the case. Again, this may be a staffing agency does something different. If it's a smaller staffing agency, they may have different rules for it. Um, but that's going to be typically they would only do that if they were new, but it could just be at that company. That's not normal. Let me be clear. So typically it's you would just skip this part, like this part would be skipped, and then you would just go internal recruiter to hiring manager. But sometimes these can all be skipped. This is a general flow if you're using a staffing agency. So I want to get a bot that pulls qualifications for all the roles I'm aiming for and shows me most used keywords. Actually, yes. So that's a salient point. Yesterday on the last stream, I actually said something about that. Is that I don't fully believe in AI resumes because they seem to glitch, but I would love a scraping tool that just you put in a couple of job titles and it shows you the most qualifications and words. I think that would actually be very useful. So people don't have to manually do it, and then you could code your resume. I would love for someone to steal that idea and make it, but just being able to essentially scrape all of these for manager and see what the most common words are would be lovely. I would love a thing like that. That would help so much. I do not have the IT knowledge to do that. Um, it's probably a simple web scraper, but that is beyond my knowledge. Again, I am a recruiter, not an IT person. Otherwise, I would be an IT. I've only seen one IT person, no, two IT people actually go to recruiting. Usually it's the other way around. But yes, again, I'm going to say this again. Put in Excel if you have it. It is in everything, right? Let's see, where's the benefits? Bachelor's, management. Oh my gosh, do they actually not have it here? Here it is. Nope. Third bullet. MS Excel. MS Excel. There it is. This is probably something that almost anybody could learn, but this is the third bullet. You need to put it. And I have actually had people with more years experience than me that could not use Excel. So if you have Excel, if you have Word, if you have Outlook, I am aware of how basic they are. Put them in the resume. Put them in the resume. No, 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 no. If you could just use it, literally use it, that's fine. I'm not saying making some like crazy tables and pivots and data things. Literally, if you can input it and make a basic Excel sheet, put it in. If you have used Outlook, put it in. It is incredibly important. Just again, created emails and documents using Excel, Outlook, and MS Word along with PDF. Like, just put it in. Yeah. Oh, if you could, yeah, there you go. You're above most people. All right. So with that Excel rant, trust me, that's much more than you think it is. So put that in there. And now with that, I will bid you all adieu. My brain is, I want to hit this before the next commercial comes in, so I want to end the stream. I will be back every Tuesday and Wednesday at 5:30 PST until whenever I feel like it. So it was nice meeting all you new people. I hope your job search goes well, although fair warning, we're approaching the winter months, so it's probably not going to be a ton of stuff happening. Don't feel bad. It's just the way it is. Thank you, everybody. Rolshawn, Brad, Maslow, and Too Tactical if you're back in the chat. I will see you all next week, Tuesday, 5:30 PST. Have a good Thanksgiving, and I don't know, something other that's really cool in a tagline. Later, everybody.